Can you imagine a world where arguably the greatest singer of all times gave up his mic, left the stage, did all of that just to grab a pair of cleats, a helmet, and jersey to suit up for the Detroit Lions? What if I told you that singer was Marvin Gaye? What if I told you that it almost happened? And what if I told you that the two responsible for helping him are Hall of Famer Lynn Barney and Mel Farr superstar, the car salesman, but at the time he was a Detroit Lion. Both of these men were said to be real close friends with Marvin Gaye. So imagine this great icon being anything other than what we imagined him to be, with great songs such as I Heard It Through the Grapevine, What's Going On, Sexual Healing. Just imagine for a minute Marvin Gaye, the football player. In the late 60s, Marvin Gaye had become very close friends with the Lions' Mel Farr and Lynn Barney, a future Hall of Famer. And Gaye, an avid sports fan and good athlete, was a football fanatic. And it was said that he pestered both Favre and Barney to get him a tryout with the Lions, whose coach at the time was Joe Smith, who ran a very loose practice at the time. After weeks of talking about it, Smith finally relented in July of 1970 and gave Gaye a tryout. Gaye made a gym in his garage and bulked up, even as he began to run 5 miles a day, and it became a big deal in Detroit when he announced the upcoming tryout on television. According to Barney, it started when a young Lynn Barney found himself at the doorsteps of Marvin Gaye's home, and Marvin, who was also a fan of his, invited him in for breakfast. Barney said he would later introduce him to Mel Farr, and the three became close friends at a dark time in the singer's life. See, in March 1970, at the age of 24, Marvin Gaye's recording partner and friend, Tammy Terrell, died of a brain aneurysm, and Gaye had stopped performing and recording. See, Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell music was soundtracks to black love. They were on a high, and little did they know that tragedy would strike. See, Tammy Terrell had battled migraines since childhood, but the pain on October 14th, 1967 became too much to bear, and she collapsed in Marvin Gaye's arms while performing at a college in Virginia. The medical diagnosis revealed a brain tumor. As she slowly withered away, a large part of Marvin Gaye did too. Tammy Terrell never recovered. Confined to a wheelchair, blind and suffering, Tammy Terrell died on March 16, 1970, 45 days shy of her 25th birthday. Gaye openly sobbed at her funeral, yet gathered the strength to deliver the eulogy, telling the crowd of her courage to endure 7 brain procedures over 2 years. Mel Farr recalled that Gaye stopped singing and recording. He was in sort of a funk, and so was America. From the mid to late 1960s, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King were assassinated. You had the Vietnam War, Detroit riots. All at the same time, Gaye's brother returned from Vietnam. You had the Vietnam War going on. And Marvin would recall that his phone would ring, and it would be Motown wanting him to start recording and working. And he would say, "Have you seen the paper today? Have you read about these kids who were killed at Kent State?" He was divided in his mind and soul, and he couldn't sleep, couldn't stop crying. The notion of singing 3-minute songs about the moon and love just didn't interest him. But Marvin would begin to get his motivation back after seeing Vietnam protesters. Marvin would begin to pen a song called "What's Going On." Did you know this fun fact? That Marvin intended to give this song to a group called the Originals, who he was helping out, but was quickly talked out of it by Mel Farr. And did you know that not only was that a fact, but Mel Farr and Lem Barney, his two good friends, are featured on that song in the conversations. He intended for them to sing background, but the two were just conversating on the album. And he also gave them song credit. It was said that after the recording, Marvin Gaye, 31 at the time, told his good friends that he wanted to try out for the Lions. Gaye was quoted as saying, "I would rather catch a pass and score a touchdown in Tiger Stadium than rack up another gold record." Gaye started working out with his friends, the great Mel Farr and Lem Barney, and also Lions great Charlie Sanders, and he bulked up to 30 pounds. The then Lions coach Joe Smith, also a fan, agreed to take a meeting with Gaye, but when he found out that he never played football, even in high school, he said no to a tryout. But he quickly changed his mind before training camp and agreed to give Gaye a look during a Lions workout at Michigan. It was said that Gaye looked decent, but privately, the Lions coach had other things on his conscience. He imagined that one of America's greatest singers running across the middle on the field, running into Deacon Jones and Dick Buckus and being violently hit, and that was too much for the coach's conscience to bear. So there was no training camp invitation. The coach just told Marvin, "I love you. I love your attitude." Gaye's life ended up in a down spiral before his death in 1984. But in that summer, when he tried out for the Lions, drugs were not a part of his life. And I never seen Marvin more happier, said Farr. Imagine that. One of the greatest singers of all time being on the gridiron for the Detroit Lions, possibly winning the Super Bowl. Wow. Like and subscribe if you like this story. Peace.